Well, hello there friends, Dag here. Welcome back to my channel where I showcase the creation process of my gothic and lowbrow fantasy art and ramble the art things. This painting is called Time for Tea and was created for the Bad Apple Artist Collective auction themed Nightmare vs. Tea Time. I felt the mood for a little zombie themed painting. So I figured I would talk about making an artist website, the options out there, and my experiences. I have gotten the request a few videos ago, so I figured why not? In my last video I mentioned I have had websites off and on since I was 14, but it was actually a little earlier than that. I completely forgot Xpage was a thing. Xpage did not have like the simplistic drop and drag tools, like you actually had to HTML code it. But I had started off with the free sites like GeoCities and Xpage and Angelfire. They weren't really anything special, but I did end up getting my first paid domain when I was 14 through GeoCities. But all three of these free places have long since gone away, but more have cropped up. Places like Weebly or Wix have a free plan. Where it is free to create a page, it is relatively simplified with like drag and drop, but sometimes the personalization is not great and free sites can be suppressed in search engines due to being, well, free and anybody can create them. They could be anything from spam or scam, which can drag down their relevancy. So I guess the question is probably, who should you use? But it more depends on what you need it for. Are you looking for an e-commerce platform to sell your items direct, or just a hub for all your contact and various links? No matter your need, if you are trying to market your art, you may have business cards and social media, and you need something to link through to where people can contact you, browse your art, and see other news going on, or even just buy your art. If you only have social media and depend on that, and don't really need a website, Linktree can be an option to showcase all of your different accounts that can be linked across your profile, so people can find your Twitter, your Instagram, YouTube, whatever through each distinct profile. It's good to have them kind of linked across the board. If you are looking to set up a domain, something like Weebly has simple drag and drop items like their widgets, galleries, and text, and more options with paid features. I imagine Wix operates the same. I have never used them, so I don't know what all their options are, but the free sites will have ads on them to Wix or Weebly. It's a paid feature to remove it. You can also register your domain through them for an extra fee. If you don't do that, your site will be kind of a subdomain with Weebly in the link's name, or Wix or whatever. When I did use Weebly, there was an option to add HTML. I think Weebly had a cap on how many items you could add to a free page. But with the HTML, you could use PayPal to create add to cart buttons and generate the code and copy and paste it into the script form. It was more tedious to do it with every item and making sure to have corresponding images, but it is an option to circumvent that for free. Unless they change and PayPal no longer has the buttons. It's been a long time since I generated one, but you could probably figure out how to do it easily by just searching on Google. In my experience, sometimes PayPal's site can be a little hard to navigate when you're trying to find certain things like shipping non-eBay packages. There is a possibility Square might have a feature like that too. I'm not too familiar with them. They are a credit card processor. They also offer free card readers for phones if you also do cons and selling live at events. But if you're looking for e-commerce options, I highly recommend Etsy's pattern sites, especially if you already use Etsy to sell. I enjoyed it the time I used it, and it was great to kind of merge both sites. It's simple and it's not out of a comfort zone at all if you're already used to Etsy. The issue I have with the pattern site is its lack of personalization when it comes to the pages. It is essentially an overglorified Etsy shop that looks like a third-party store. You can tie in a domain to it, but I think they might actually have a like pattern dot whatever your Etsy name is if you don't do the domain variant of it. But you are limited on the pages you have. Like, they have a set, everything, like a layout, like across the board. Like, you can change shop themes and layout to a degree, but there's very, very little personalization, and you can't change the pages you have. Like, your home page will always be your Etsy store pretty much, but there is a contact page, but it's all stuff that it's pulling from your Etsy store. I wish you could just add more to the pattern site in general. Like, maybe I wanted one of the tabs in the site to redirect to Kickstarter or another off-site page. I couldn't do that. My other gripe with Etsy would be the fees. You're still paying the Etsy fees. Whatever you pay for a regular item to list and sell, whatnot. Things like a sticker for $2 or $3, to me, it's not really worth it to list them all on Etsy. It's not really great for small items. You pay to list and also when it sells. But some of that is credit card processing fees, but I think Etsy will take out an additional, hey, we sold your item for you fee too. I don't remember, it's been a while since I actually looked at the numbers. I have really pondered going back at times, because it was super convenient and it could be possibly cheaper, but it won't happen until there is definitely more customization on the sites for me, if that would ever be a thing. I should also note a positive for them. Square has Etsy integration, so if you are selling at live events, it can tie right into your Etsy, and it makes keeping stock super simple. Now, Stag, what do you use? I am currently using Shopify. It was a lot like Weebly for me, and fairly simple to use, but it had more emphasis with e-commerce. I would say Shopify and Wix are probably similar in that regard. Shopify had a lot of third-party apps you could add, some free and some paid. Two of the features that drew me in were automated layaway, where the customer could also choose their payment plan, and print-on-demand drop shipment. While I no longer use the latter, it can be a great tool to create a ton of shirts and mugs and such, and they ship them directly to the customer. I, for a time, used Printful through them. They also had a program, if you paid extra fees, they would store your promotionals and business cards and slap them in the packages for branding. My issue with drop shipment is I cannot quality control, and I'm trusting these companies to fulfill to a standard I want, because they are sort of representing me at that point. My other issue I have is, this is on Shopify's end, it's the customization of shipping. It's across the board and it works by weight, not by the item as Etsy would have. Sometimes there might be stipulations on certain items that maybe it's more fragile or needs more shipping for whatever reason. Like, you don't have that option, it is by weight. The only thing I could ever think to do was raise the weight on a certain item. But if I was doing the print-on-demand drop shipment thing, there would be 2 packages potentially shipping if prints were also an item on the order or some other item from my shop, which could double the shipment cost, but no way to adjust to account for the products specifically on Etsy. On Etsy, I can edit individual shipping profiles by type of product. I can personalize it to not discount with additional items. It's a mess and it sounds confusing, but I'm just not a fan of how I can't quite personalize the shipping profiles by item type, but only by weight. And Shopify does not have fees for listing items. but it will have a fee for credit card processing. Like anything will, because it costs money to process credit cards, period. Depending on the volume you sell, it could be a lot cheaper than Etsy, but it's not anywhere near a loss for selling those smaller items. You can list whatever you want for even $1. But do you need an artist website? It honestly depends on what you need it for. It's not unreasonable to just have a blog, certain blog entries linked in a link tree for info to buy. I've known artists to use a blog as a site, and it felt a little convoluted to me, but that's just me. But at the end of the day, it's your business, and whatever you prefer to use is up to you. It comes down to what you want the site to do. And do the free ads bother you? Are you skilled in coding? Most people are not, but there are tons of options out there. I only listed companies I am familiar with exception to Wix. I've been hearing a lot about them, and they seem to sponsor a lot of people. But they were originally on this short list of companies I was thinking about when I made the switch from Etsy's pattern. I also should note you can have more than one domain. I have two, but they are the same page. whitestagart.com redirects to lowbrowmisfits.com. There are also options, but it is completely more convoluted and not great for beginners because you can register your domain in the web hosting or whatever and then learn the code. But if you're watching this video to learn about artist websites, you probably don't know how to code, so like these other options are definitely more viable and easier. Depending on where you're at in your career, you might not even need a site yet. If you're doing more local stuff, filling out business cards with your email and social media may be enough for you. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. You can find me on Patreon for my new art card mystery packs and digital coloring pages. And I'm also on Instagram where I post what I'm working on in the moment. And also my website, lowbrowmisfits.com, for prints, paintings, and more art stuff. Well, bye.